Yes, we can hear you from. We can hear you.
Okay, so I was asking if installation. Okay. Send the message. All right. Just wanted to be sure that we could install. Johnson, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine, sir. Good morning, Andy.
Yeah, my guy. So I want to ask if you've been able to do installation.
Yes, sir. I did all the installation and I cloned the repo that is in the Zion documentations. But based on you did not kind of explain the structure.
Yes.
But so we know that in that contract.rox, contract.rox, that was where we were writing our own contract where you were writing it that day. So yes. I've cloned it, I've run it, and tested it. Yeah.
Okay. I think let's just get started with that then. Let me share my screen soon. So please confirm if you can see my screen. All right. Copy CW content. Yes, I did copy the yeah. Okay, sorry, please hold on. It says I have CW counter. Where did we put it?
Yes, I think you already clone it that day, so you just open it directly that day.
I don't even know. Funny thing is, I do not even know where. I think I have it in this directory, but okay, yes, I've seen it. Okay, open. Showing it in. Okay, yes. It's OT like long live one. Okay, so I think I need to do some explanations so that first and foremost, that in quote scary look of Rust should not the reactions from last class. So yeah, I think at this point now we understand that coding margin is written in Rust, and you require one or two knowledge of Rust to be able to like continue. Why am I having software updates? Answer tonight. So yeah, let's see. I think I need to start with message. Okay, so basically, I think last class I explained that we have three main ways or three main entry points of reaching out to the contract, or at which the contract works when it comes to customizing. Instantiate, execute, and query. And so instantiate tells the blockchain what information is needed, or like what information is needed to create or initialize, yes, a copy of the contract. So for example, now we have public count, then integer 32, that's 32 bits, right? Basically, it is telling the contract that before we can start the contract, the user needs to put in something, or the in quote admin. And in our last class, so today I'll be explaining a lot on this rather than doing some active writing so that we can all follow along. So yeah, in our last class, I think we did something like pub admin and then string, right? And then depending on whatever logic we'll be writing further, you can even see one funny thing about a good development environment when you install the right thing is your sorry, your the debugger works concurrently. So as you are trying to like make changes, if it is not reflecting in other files, you are probably going to get this red line or squiggly lines when it comes to that. Okay, so in our last class we had something like admin string, right? And we added something like public session name and all. And we said also. So one funny thing now is before I forget, when you are dealing with addresses, right? Contract addresses, you can either decide to use string or you use ADDR address. I need to import it. So difference between this is like the word says, address already understands that you are passing in an address, but a string just passes it as when you're sending a data as a string, it just takes it as a string, nothing more, nothing less. So it is probably going to be in your logic that you would now do the conversion from string to address. But like, if you are dealing with addresses, make sure you can, if you want to, you can decide to use the address keyword. And then let me remove this back. Execute message. Execute message are basically actions that someone can tell the contract to do. So, for example, we have increment and we have reset. So, increment, when we would run this contract soon, but the work of increment here is, let me see. Oh, she's zooming. Sorry. How about now? Is it clear now? Let me remove this guy also. Gaba.
Yes, it is clear. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Yes. So I was saying the work of the execute message is basically actions that the contract can take. Like I explained in the last class, these are like things relating to your post method or your put method or your patch method in your traditional Web 2 your traditional Web 2 backend this thing, right? Or maybe your form. So your form can either be a post form you get or put patch, whatever method you are trying to pass in. And like I said earlier, also in last class, these are like the basics. So if we remove this guy out, we definitely are going to have instantiate message, execute message, and query message. And most times your instantiate message are always going to be in struct. And now struct is another keyword for is another keyword in what's it called now? In Rust, right? And then basically difference between struct and what's the word now? And enum is struct are like more stricter when it comes to handling data. For example, if we try to pass a struct as our response, it is either going to be that response or that related response or not. It can't be in between. You get me? So these are things that we need to note. So yes, structure of the file structure, right, for Cosmo Asm. You can see we have state, we have message, we have library, we have integration test, we have helpers, we have errors. Basically, you're most likely going to be dealing with message, state, contract. I don't think you need anything. Yes, library is not. Sometimes some people use library, but basically your main logic would lie in the contract.rs file. Your message.rs file would undo the basic kind of in quotes initialization of what you want to pass in as what you want to pass in your logic. And then your state, like I said earlier, state is more of like your DB, right? When it comes to the contract. So state handles, you can see we have state and then we're saving count, we're saving owner. And here, funny thing now, we see owner address, right? So that means when you're dealing with contracts, when you're dealing with sorry, I said contract, when you're dealing with addresses, right? you are most likely going to use it as an address instead of a string. I hope my message is clear. If you want me to like come back, please let me know. Let's see. Am I making sense? Or am I too fast? Do I need to like start again? Can you guys hear me first and foremost? All right. So yeah, after creating the structure of the state, you pass it here. And then when you're dealing with states, you can either use item or use map. Let me see if map would finish. Sorry. Map. Sorry. So whatever case you might want to use, whatever way you might want to store your data. So basically, sorry, please give me a minute. Sorry, I'm back. Sorry. So yeah, I was talking about map and items. Also, yes, note that we have different ways of, or we have different point of importing some of these things that we've been working with or that we work with. For example, you can see use Cosimo underscore schema. We're importing CW thread, and then I think there is. Let me see if it's supposed to be. Yes, yeah. They're supposed to be okay. It's not here. They're supposed to be, let me see. Said, am I correct? Yes, I think so. So all these are used for serializing and deserializing. Command. Right? And so if we're trying to make sure, if we're trying to store data, for example, we're trying to store the entire state, right? This is what we do here: public constant, then state. We pass in the item as state. When you're familiar with Rust, you would understand this mechanism. There are a lot of things also that we would not be touching based on the fact that people are still new to Rust. But maybe later on we can find time to like take a Rust course from scratch, and then but that would be from Zion's end. I think you guys bootcamp will be ending soon, right? So sorry, I want to put this in my second screen. Open in P2P. Okay, I should open. All right. So yeah, so yeah, the difference between I think I was mentioning map earlier. So the difference between map and item is used for what's it called now? Single state, for storing single value, sorry, while map is used for key value storage. And the this is for sorry, what is this? This is how we use item. If we are to do with what's it called now? Map, we'd also do something like public constant state, and then we do map. So I hope you guys are following, right? We'll do map, and then we can now pass in the address. Where's my answer? Yes. Address and let's see what else. Wonder why we did not use and state here. Let's see. Why did we not use and state? And then I think we can do map. New. Okay, and I think we just pass in. Yeah, line. We pass in state. Storage queue state. Let's see. So we can say yeah. Sorry. Personal okay, yes. No, but
Sorry for interrupting what you are doing.
Of course.
Like, I want to understand something within this map. You say you're using it to store like items. Is it the same thing with like using like vector, like to store items?
So, the difference between map and vector is used for growable arrays, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And then map is used to store exactly. Map is like key value pair. You know the way you have it in your JSON. Say
yeah.
Your JSON is say name and then Noah, right? So that is what map. That's like the function of map.
Okay.
You can read more on it. I think I dropped in our last class. I don't think you're in our last class. So, and then there was another thing I was supposed to drop. So we can check this out.
Okay.
There were some other resources I can't even remember. I shared quite a few. I think Rust. Also, yes. Introduction to Rust. Let me see if it is this. There is a course on ArcQuest if you want to further your knowledge.
Okay.
By the way, this was presentation, not this. Back home. Hold on. So, like, they would discuss more on this. I remember saying.
So this from the course one you sent for that link you sent for me now.
No. The link I sent for you is not this. I just wanted to show you. Let me see. I'm trying to copy this course. Bam. How will I be able to copy this now? Why is this their explore courses? Okay. I think this. Yep. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
All right,
Thank
my
you.
boss. You're welcome. Okay. So yeah, Let me remove this guy. There's something I'm supposed to add to this map. Yes. So we can say let's call it, I don't call it state. Yes, at the end of the day, I'm still going to call it state. State. Yes, let's see. First. Why do I have map? Right. So basically, what's wrong? State is defined multiple times. State must be defined only once in the value. Where did I? Oh, okay. Because I have it here. So because let's do something like home. Should work now. Yes. Takes to generic argument was supplied. Okay. Say should be yes 64 bits. And then voila, we're good to go. But that is by the way. Whatever I inputted, remove. So basically, state is the home of where your data would be. That is, by data I mean some of the things that you'll be saving to the blockchain for data persistency and somewhat consistency. So should I come back, or you want me to explain more? We've touched message, the areas we've touched state. Any clarity? Anyone needs more clarity? Okay, I think that as a no. All right, and then yes, we have what is it called now? Query message. Now, what does query message do? We all know get request, yes or no? This is an open class. I don't like our door. Our last two classes were like very interesting and very interactive. So yeah, we're familiar with get requests, right? So basically, your query message, like it says, is to query the blockchain for data, and most likely you are not going to be what's the word now? You're not going to be dealing with sorry, when you query the blockchain, you really do not need there's no signing of transactions there. Signing of transactions only work when you use the execute message and I think instantiate message. But when you query the blockchain, you're just trying to get data. So please note that. So here we have get count returns the current count as an encoded as a JSON encoded number. So it returns get count responses, which is here. And if you remember, I spoke about using structs as part of your responses also, right? So the author of this code already has he made this in I put this in place, right? So there's a get count response, which is a struct variable, a struct type, sorry, and then also passes in the count. So when user queries, it gets exactly this. So it's more of like you saying in your response for your Web2 project, right? You are passing in response that the user should only see. So for example, now when the user logs in, right, you could decide to pass in every detail about the user, say name, email, first name, last name, and then maybe his gender or something, right? But you can also decide to make sure that you only return access tokens, right? So basically, passing struct as a response kind of do that same thing. Error, I don't think you guys need. I'm not doing anything with errors. All these ones are just there to like help you. Let me see. Help us. CWD template contract. Boom, 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 boom. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? I think these ones are just variables. You can actually do without this. Yes, you can do without this. But the main logic resides here. Why am I having squiggly lines? Okay, this is outdated. Okay, so first and foremost, it's depreciated from binary. Use from JSON instead. All right. So if your installation works correctly, you are likely going to get all these things when you are coding. So basically, it has the updated in quotes Rust version. So whenever because it is always under development, right? So whenever a keyword changes or whenever why am I having red lines? Whenever something changes, right, it also tells you and then auto suggests what the output should be. And then if you remember last class also, I told you if you look at the bottom of my VS Code editor, you can see things like in instantiate contract, upload cosmosm, deploy cosmosm, build cosmosm. You know, this is another chain, Rust analyzer, and I can leave the rest. So, because we already have, I followed through with the installation, right? So, all these things are there to like make life easier for me. But why is this thing showing red lines, red lines, red lines? From JSON. Okay. JSON. Okay, so yes, what? Okay, so yes, now we have in the contract, right? You can see we have something like instantiate. I'll come back to this, please. So first and foremost, yes, before I go deep into instantiate, we have we have this imports. So use customizing STD, but most likely what we need. Very good. I've not had sleep. So yes, basically this is like your basic import. You need this. Use customizing STD and then to JSON binary, depths, dependencies, mute, environment, message info, responses, and STD results. Now, okay. Environment has to do with, yes, what's it called now? Some blockchain infos, like the block height and what's it called again? Maybe I think chain ID or so, right? Dependencies, what's the word? Dependencies are basically what's the word now? Yeah, basically dependencies. I don't know. Someone should borrow me English. And so you can switch in between dependencies like depths or depths mute. Basically, your instantiate message goes back to what you already have here. So whenever you have defined your message.rs file, like you've added your instantiate message and all that, you still need to do 3 things in the contract also, which is call the instantiate, make use of an instantiate, create an instantiate function, and then the instantiate function calls instantiate message. Message info is basically the message that we're passing into the blockchain and all that. So they are necessary, but like this is what you need most. This is what you need most: instantiate message, and then this is you passing in the result and response, right? And so yes, we have when we're instantiating the contract now, we have let state then is equals to state, and then we're passing count, we're passing owner is equals to owner info.sender clone. So this automatically gets the address that is making the request or that is making the instantiation. So it is like it automatically gets the address that's going to like sign the transaction basically, sure. And one more thing. I'm going to say something about this. Remember. Okay, yes. When we are instantiating this contract, we're definitely going to pass in some wallet address info. So basically, this info.sender.clone automatically gets what we pass in. Then this talks about the contract, which is what we've imported there. Contract name and contract version. So this is basically we're familiar with versioning with our project. So we have API version 1. There's also API version 2, basically. So I think that one should not be an issue. So this is the response. They're passing in the response as so you add attributes, you pass what you want to pass, add attributes, we're passing owner, then info.sender, and then add attributes count. That's when we let's go back here. When we instantiate, we're also passing a count message. Right? Also. So now in the contract.rs, you can see we're passing owner, right? We're automatically getting the user that made the instantiation, right? So here in the state, you can see that we're saving the owner here, and then we're automatically saving it as an address. Am I clear? Should I continue, or you guys want me to like? Do you have questions? Okay. I hope I'm not boring you people. I think today's class is quite boring. Yes or no? It happen. So yeah, so basically this is the passing in. This is the response that we're passing. We can decide to remove any of the response, but for clarity's sake, we need to pass this. And then you can see here that we have state.save, right? So we're calling dependencies.storage, and then the data is state. Where is yes? So we already have this here as this variable, right? We're passing states. So at the end of the day, whatever we have here, whenever we run the instantiate query, at the end of the day, it's getting saved to the state module, right? And then this is the state here. So I don't know if I'm making sense. Am I making sense? So yeah, I think I remember now. Message.info basically is just about it also has to do with somewhat with info.sender, right? So basically, who called me? What is the user like? The user that called me, and then what is like the what's the word now? What is the message being sent across, basically? So all these things are to make sure that you whatever you do on the blockchain is being saved on the blockchain, and that you can see it at the end of the day. So yes, we have execute. Wait, we have to execute. Yes, let me see. Okay, so we have execute function here, and then I think I do not need to explain any of this anymore. But please note that all these are like essential or crucial. So note that in your message, you pass in your instantiate message like this, you pass in your execute message like this, you pass in your query message like this. But then in your contract, you pass in you have an execute function, you have an instantiate function, which calls each and every one of these messages, right? And then yeah, so basically here we have we have sorry. Okay, yes. We have the same environment, passing environment, passing message. Okay, and then whatnot. Now, when you are dealing with execute, when you are doing anything that has to do with execution, right? After you writing this, always make sure that there's a match message. So the work of match message is make sure that when your user now tries to when user or when anyone tries to make use of the contract, right, and run some commands, whatever they are passing has to match what what you've passed in, basically. And then normally we can see we have module public mod and then execute. We could have this also inside the match message, but this is Adrian Thompson. Adrian is Zion Global Developer. So I think what he did here was to make sure that we have the code is neat and readable. So also please, I think this one should not even be based on blockchain. This is normal practice, right? Readability for the next user that will come on board. Okay, so what I did there was passed in the execute message function and then increment, and then we have this execute increment. So basically at the end of the day, this execute increment goes back to this fine boy here. I don't know if I am making sense. And then this fine boy here already has state.count plus or is equals to 1. Remember that the contract is a counter contract. Let me see if yes. So basically, what does it do? The contract sets an initial counter value, increments or resets the counter, query the current counter value, right? And incrementing or resetting the counter would mean that this will be done from the execute message section. Okay. Okay, yes. So yes, we have state.count plus equals to 1. Yes, so we can see state.update. And the previous one we have, where is it? State.save. I don't know if I'm making sense. Please, if you want me to match break a little bit, let me know. Am I making sense? Are you guys understanding what I am saying, or should we pause small? Should we pause small, or should we continue? I'm also going to mute my mic if nobody says anything. So we're just looking at ourselves. Is OTF like long live one? Okay. Am I making sense? Hello guys, can you hear me?
Yes, you can hear it, sir. We are trying to make sense of everything.
Yeah? Sorry, we are trying to make sense of everything.
Like everything, So that I think that is why everybody's a little bit muted.
That's why I'm asking if you have questions or if you want me to go back from some maybe you missed something or you want me to put clarity into some things.
It's very deep, very, very deep.
Yeah. So that's why I didn't even decide to write because we're supposed to write Rust today, but sorry, I said Rust, cousin Mazin. But I just figured, let me explain this thing. Let's come from the explanation section. But let's see how it goes. Let's continue. Sorry, I'm supposed to have this. Yeah. So we're following this doc at the end of the day. I just needed to explain one or two things, and then we will go. We will go. All right. Oh. But mind you, sorry, your execute contract, depending on your use case, might be fewer lines, might be a little bit simpler, might be complex also depending on your use case, right? And it's basically when I say my name is Noah now, for example, and I tell Adebakin my name is Noah. I tell Adeoshun my name is Noah, right? When you want to pass that message across to somebody else, Adebakin might say, quote me. I think you are familiar with quote now. So Adebakin might quote me and say, he said, my name is Noah, in quotes. While Adeoshun might say, he said his name is Noah. Right. So two different ways at which messages are being passed. Right. So basically, when you write your code too, we have different your thought process might be different from the next person's thought process. So hence the way the person would implement the code. I don't know if I'm making sense. So yes, this might look what's the word now? This might look like a spell or something, but it gets better. 1, 2. This is the way Emperor decided to I call him Emperor because that's his nickname, Adrian. So this is the way he decides to write his own contract. All right. So let me show you. Let me see if I can. I'm not supposed to. Let me see if I have contracts written that I can show you. La, 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 la. Not design first, not low cost. I'm supposed to have there is no VP's contract. Okay. It's OTF like long live one. So this is another contract from one of the projects I'm working on, right? Sorry. As you can see here in my execute message, or in my execute function, sorry, why am I saying message? I have match message here, and then I have transfer token. I am passing recipient address. And I'm also saving recipient address. I'm saving admin. Sorry, I'm trying to load the admin, not save. Right. So the same way we have when we're dealing with states, right? Previously, this guy has this guy has save when he's instantiating, and then it has updates when it is executing the contract, right? We also have load to get data from the state. And then please remember that state is in quote your database when it comes to similarities with Web 2. So I'm trying to make sure I'm trying to pass similarities across so that we might painting the picture on our head might make a little bit of sense, right? And so I have last transfer time. I cannot share the full code, some things, but basically, see here, I passed in my execute message in match message, right? And then Emperor is passing is outside. It's passing in the match message, but the main function is a little bit outside the match message. So whatever use case, how you want to write it, however you want to do your thing, depends on you. It is your canvas. How do you say that saying? It is your canvas. Design it as you will. So, and then I think we can come to query. So this is query, blah, 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 blah. So basically query gets count and then converts it to JSON binary. And then the reason why we're converting this to JSON binary is to make sure that at the end of the day, the response we're getting would come in quotes, some kind of JSON format. And then this is test, but I don't think we should enter inside it for now. Let's even understand the basics. So that being said, this is a little bit how I can explain some of these things, right? 1, and then 2, the best way to learn is when you practice and then when you read other people's code, which like I said in our last class, is Johnson here. Johnson asked the question, how long will it take to learn Rust, right? And I told him that I won't be able to give a specific answer based on a lot of parameters that might be involved and a lot of constraints, right? So basically, that Cousin Wazin book that I shared would help you a lot when it comes to learning Cousin Wazin. And I don't really think there are like enough resources on YouTube as to that. But Cousin Wazin book it would help you a lot. So there are things like migrate message, for example. Where is it? Let's use. And then the work of migrate message is just as it's just the work sounds as the name, migrate message. Let me see if I can pub, and migrate message. I'm not supposed to quote it. Yes. So what does migrate message do? Basically, when you want to keep state, right? For example, now we know that when we're dealing with the smart contracts, when we make changes and we deploy a new contract, the existing one is gone. And then we have a new one on a new slate. Yes or no? Right? But for example, now if you are in production environments, right, and then you already have 1,000 users, but like you want to make changes to, so for example, your get count. So let's say we'll do something like get name, for example. Get name, for example. What am I doing? For crying out loud. Wait, what am I doing? Please don't let us mind these red lines. We'll come back to it. But I needed to pass in get name as part of my query message, right? It will mean that when I do it and then I reinstantiate the contract, I redeploy the contract, I would get a new contract address, right? But that will mean that my existing contract address is gone. But with the work of migrate message, basically what it does is to make sure that you can keep your existing contract details, you can keep your existing contract data while making sure that your new changes also reflect there. So it's basically like, when in your Web 2 environment now, if you decide to add a new field to your user table, right? Say we have name, we have email, we have address, and then I decide to add phone number. It's simple. I do not need to when I redeploy and all that, it's easy for me to get data back and all, but and then my existing data still remains the same. But on the blockchain, for example, if you add a new field, right, you already know that when you redeploy that existing contract details is somewhat gone. But with migrate message, it makes sure that you can preserve or you can still own or have access to your existing data while making sure that the new changes reflect on the existing data. All these things might likely not make sense to you people at the moment, but with time. And Adebakin, I already spoke with Dr. Silverstone, right? And then we'll be looking as to when we would make announcements for the bootcamp session that you suggested or you talked about. So whenever it is coming, whenever it is out, I think you are in the Zion Builders group, right? So you get information when the time is right. And then I would love to, even for time constraints, right? There are a lot of things that we could have done, like interacting with Zion on the front end, from the front end. That is using that abstraction library that we talked about. Yeah. Sorry. For example, now, this is one of the, I this guy call it multi now. This is a multi, we're familiar with multi-sig, right? Any of us familiar with multi-sig? So this is, don't mind UI, the guy just made updates this morning. So you can see I'm just even testing and then I just funded it, right? This, let me show you, let me side data, wait, done. So now when this is it already has a contract that controls the multi-sig, right? But I can Yeah, this guy, what's his name? John is making use of the Zion Abstraction SDK to authenticate his user, which is me, right? So you can see allows us to send funds on your behalf, run a multi-sig account, permission to execute smart contracts. This gives us permission to instantiate contracts on your behalf, or in other words, create fundraisers gasless and all that. So I accept and I continue. And so these are like, we are supposed to like get to stages like building with the from the front end part of things. It requires Next.js though, so I think it should not be a problem for front end developers. So you can see, where's my money? Jesus. I beg, bro. I don't think, yeah, my money is reflecting back. So yeah, this is just one of the use cases of the Zion SDK and then the smart contract written on Zion also. So watch out for this project. I should, maybe by next month, they should announce this thing, but with better UI. They should announce, what's it called? Testnet, and then each and every one of you can come and play with it. Okay. So yes. So I assume that we have passed Control J this stage, and then let's assume that we know what the contract is doing. But I know that we do not know, but let's assume that we know what the contract is doing. Sorry. When did I have Qatar? God have mercy. So if we have Docker installed, we could do two things. We could either use this guy, right? But if I try to run it here, it will not even work. Reason being that I do not have Docker. Like my Docker is not running at the moment. So let me start my my Dockers. Okay. Yes, still in class. Sorry, I want to reply this message. How does sorry. Yeah, internet address now. Yeah, yeah, okay. Sorry. I think drag to resize. Okay. So let me run it again. And now, yes, it is compiling and optimizing. And then I would see what I have here. Artifact. Okay, wait, let me delete this and then we start again. So basically, the work of this is to make sure that all this, your contract logic and everything, is embedded in a WASM file. That's WebAssembly. And the reason why Zion is using WASM is to save storage cost, right? So when you deploy this your heavy contract, sorry, it's not heavy, but when you deploy this your contract like this, and then you try to like, this is not what's the word now? Safe. Yeah, when you try to deploy this your contract and all that, right? File size and all those things might be a constraint. Let me delete check some also. So yes. So we can do two things, like I said earlier. Please note that if you notice, you see we have a target folder here, right? And then in our target folder, we have WASM 32 unknown. So there are two ways we can do this compiling to WASM. We can either do cargo WASM, or we end up using the Docker. Adebaki, are you taking notes? Because I think yes. So if you do cargo WASM, this is it. It should build at the end of the day. Yes. So we have it in this is our CW counter the WASM. Let me delete. What's on my mouse? Delete. What else? Okay. So let's run it again for you to see. Oh, it's config. If you need to support cargo, interested in program. So yeah. Let's see. Here is it. Here we have it. CW counter the wasm. And then remember I already deleted one in artifact, right? So if I end up using this Docker snippet, here we go. So here we have it. So either one that works for you, right? And then there's something also that we should have touched. I'm sorry. So we can see we have cargo.tomo file, and then we have cargo.log. So now let's relate it with package.json and then package.log.json. Am I making sense for TypeScript or like what's it called now? JavaScript developers, right? So when you have the package.json file, then you can make installation and know the kind of dependencies that your project will be using, right? So that is what cargo.tomo file does. And then imagine if there was no cargo.log in place, what I would have done is cargo build, and then it will generate the cargo.log file for us. So I don't know if I'm making sense. And what else? I think we've touched that. So for your cargo.tomo file, right, you can copy from most of these applications or from most of these releases online, because at the end of the day, you are likely going to do the same. You're likely going to use the same thing. So see, cousin wasm schema, cousin wasm storage plus for saving data, cousin wasm. I think this one is no longer supported. I think so. And then third for serialization and deserialization. So most of all these things you can just copy and paste and then change the name of the package. So we have CW counter. If I change the name of the package, it will reflect in the wasm file that I am building. Are you with me? Are you with me? Are you with me? And then change the authors and all that. So, but it automatically gets, when you initialize or you create a new project with that, yes, what is it called? There is the snippet you also to create. Where is it? I have it in my Google Notes. Okay, yes, so this is it. So another thing that helps or that would help you people when it comes to initializing a project or creating a project on Cosmos is cargo generate, right? And with cargo generate, you don't need to like create these files one by one anymore. It automatically gives you that template to like follow. And so who's not that guy? There's one, is it Garba? I can't remember the name. Somebody. So yeah, this again for you people that were not in the last class. So I think I should also share it to what's his name, George, so that he can share it to you people across, not just those that are in class, but those that are not in class also can get an idea. With this, Kamal, someone left. I think I'll be back to it. I'm coming. I hope it is not the Kamal that I know. There's a Kamal we met. I met a Kamal at Kaduna also. It's probably the one. So yeah, back to this dude. So we can use cargo wasm, we can use this Docker to optimize your contract. So if Docker is not going to work for you based on optimizing the contract, right, you can end up using cargo wasm, anyone that works for you. So please note that. And So yes, now to uploading the contract on chain. I think this is where we have this thing. So I think we have our coding artifacts and let's go. So Zion D, she's at Pytech. Where am I having? Yes. Oh, sorry. I use key. Jeez. So this is now we already have a Pytech address, right? This is the mnemonic and all that. I'm not going to give it to you people, but you guys can see it and then understand. So note that we need to pass the wallet address or the key name here. Come in, let's see, where can we paste this? I think it's OTF, like long phone. So yeah, wallet. No production need a sorry. Fucking it first. And then I copy this. There's no introduction needed. So this is me trying to deploy our contract on the blockchain, on Zion blockchain, basically. So these are snippets that will help you just copy them. So gas auto means automatically gets the what's it called now? So instead of us specifically assigning gas fee, right? It automatically gets with gas auto. We can do it also manually, but gas auto saves us the stress. So gas prices is where for each unit of gas we are sending 0.001 use ion, and then use ion is the base currency or base token for Zion. Zion is the main token. Use Zion is so it's more of like sent to US dollar or Satoshi to like Bitcoin, basically. Am I making sense? So and then note that for one Zion is how much now? I think $1 or so. For one Zion, we have 1,000,000 use Zions. So whatever you are doing, always make sure that you're either dividing by 6 digits or or what's it called now? Multiplying by the digits. So please note that it's going to come in handy. There was a time that I was seeing it on the documentation, but for some reason I can't find it anymore. So most people would likely fall trap or fall short when it comes to like doing the math between Zion and Zion. But I think basically most blockchains always one native token to their sub tokens always wants like 1,000,000 or so. So please note that now we have this and then echo $. Yes. Yeah. Okay, sorry. Oh yes. So the reason why this did not work is you can see not found, description, account, key not found, blah blah blah. And the reason why this is because one, remember in our last class, I explained that when you create an address, right, it is just created temporarily. It is not registered on the blockchain. So for us to register the address on the blockchain, we need to visit the Zion faucet. So faucet.bond.com. So Zion registers the address as la 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 la. I don't think I have. Have I? So I'm selecting Zion. Should work. Ooh. Yep. And then I can view Yeah. Okay. So yes. So this is mint scan. Okay, this is Explorer. Explorer or mint scan, which you can use to get data from the blockchain based on transactions and whatnot. So this is this. So mint scan or mintscan.io or Explorer. So let me add this to. I know I've been saying a lot of, I've been passing a lot of information, but everything would look at the moment, everything would look to look like an information overload, but with time, practice makes perfect. I mean, practice takes perfect. I mean, biology, so with practice, you guys will get to that stage. So now, if I run this again, it should work. Sorry. Boom, boom, boom. Yes. So this is our gas estimate. So I think at the end of the day, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. At the end of the day, our estimated gas is probably a 1.3 Zion for transactions. So so echo rest. So this is for us to be able to get some of the data. So basically what we need is this transaction hash, right? Because this transaction hash we would use to instantiate and also get what's it called? Our contract address. This is one of the easiest part of deploying on the blockchain. So yes, you can see we have TX, your transaction hash, TX hash is equals to this. And then yes, so code ID. Any of us familiar with code ID? Please, people should talk. Our class will soon, don't worry. We have 3 minutes more. Are we familiar with code ID? Are we familiar with code ID? Anyone, please. Oh yeah, I want to share tokens to people. Send me your Zion addresses. Drop your Zion address in the group. I think I'm just going to share it to only one user.
Which wallet? Which wallet?
Which you don't worry. Okay, you just create. You can use Kepler. This is Kepler here. So it's OTF like on the one. So basically, code ID is how do I put this now for you people to understand? Code ID is basically what you would use to what you would pass in order to get a contract. Now, remember I talked about what's it called now? Migration, right? Migrating your contract. Sometimes, not sometimes, most times you would need, because for each contract, your contract would always have a code ID, right? But when you are trying to migrate your contract, you're trying to add some details to your existing contract, all you just need to do is just change the code ID for your contract and then you are good to go. We don't have, I don't know why it is not in the documentation, but I'll speak to Emperor about it. We need to add migrating your contract, what's it called now, as part of the documentation. But yeah, so echo code ID. Sorry, let me remove this guy from here. OTF, like when we again. So code underscore ID. And then this is our code ID 1223. Now we already have our code ID, right? We need to instantiate the contract. Now, if you remember, we have count, and then we can pass in number here. So this is where is it? So yes, count. Now contract here, instantiating, we pass count. Count. So let's do that. MSG is equals to curly braces, and then we have count. Oh, sorry. So we have count. Okay. We have one. We have this. We have this. Hey. I think I'm correct, right? Am I? Yes, 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 yes. Mangam. I know, I doubt if it will work. Let's use, okay. Because programming is very funny. You could say quotation marks and not. Right. So now to instantiate your contract, this is it here. This is the command we will pass. Now remember that this is the command to instantiate a contract. Zion tx wasn't instantiate. We're passing the code ID. We're passing this message that we just created. And then we're saying from the wallet we created, this is the wallet chart that would, well, what's the word now? That is instantiating the contract. And then we are passing the node ID, the node and the chain ID. The chain ID is Zion testnet 2. The node is rpc.ziontestnet2.bond.com and all that. So gas prices, this is always the default gas price. Your label could be anything you want it to be. And then gas price auto, gas adjustment 1.3. Now we can see no admin here, which means that whenever we push this contract to the blockchain, right, there is no admin registered on the blockchain that owns this contract. So when we are trying to migrate, we're likely going to fall into issues here. So we're going to do, we can decide to leave it like this, and we can decide to do yes, sorry. We can decide to pass in, what's it called now? The wallet. What's that wallet? Let me just do wallet. I hope I am correct. If you don't know why I do all these things. Failure running out. Argument received. So it's, let me just check. There should be a way. I can't show you people this, but where is it? What is that command? I am missing the command, oh Jesus. Pass admin Zion FS, not Zion FS. So you guys should give me a minute. No cargo generate, no QA to where did I now? I copied it somewhere. Where is it? Bonnet, it go. Science, I'm forgetting a lot of things. So, shit. Contract address. I'm supposed to pass in wallet or not. Yes, I think I already seen it. Okay, sorry guys. So I'm supposed to pass in admin and then this wallet. So we can label our contract as starting to do contact, and here we go. So we have instantiated the contracts. We have our code ID and all. So if you see this response, we can see the amount spent on gas and our code ID. This is the label. This is the sender. Confirm transactions. It's supposed to be an admin. Yes. Whoa. So this new transaction hash is what we'll be using to get our contract finally. I'm sorry we stalled a little bit, but we're already getting there. And few these things to go and we are ready. So yes, TX hash equals to this. Boom, and then we have our contract code. Copy. And there we are. We should get our contract address. So echo $, sorry. Into others. So yes, here we have it. Here is our contract address, and then when we check on meet scan, I can say it's beautiful. You should be able to see that the contract was instantiated, and then we are good to go. So basically, I think our time is already fast spent, but moving forward, sorry, we have our contract address. Now to query the contract, all we need is the contract address, which is what we pass in here. And I think let's just copy this and then we'll call it a day. We'll call it a week. Get count, and we have this query. I think one other thing I will do, I'll make sure that we have a whole lot of these commands in place, and then everyone can see exactly what they want to use, so that it's not just going to be getting it from the documentation itself, but also you having it in your own directory or something. Wrap. So we can count when we run this transaction, or when we run the query command, we get to see that we have one count. Now, when we run execute, which is this guy, should work. Try and increment. Yep. So as you can see the difference. I think people are already familiar with Web3 and so on. So executing make you sure that executing transactions is similar to signing transactions on the blockchain, and then here we go. So when we run the count, let's see, should have 2. So here is it. Here is our contract deployed on the blockchain, and we can interact with it. Yes, quite a boring class, but boring is where it is at the end of the day. So please, I urge and implore you all to continue. Check out the resources I already sent, and then they would make life easier for you. They will make things more explainable. And then the beauty of it all is we have AI outside at the moment. So Cloud or ChatGPT can help you out. And if you are using VS Code like me, right, you have access to Copilot free, and then you can ask questions and whatnot. So good luck, everyone. And when I think soon, would be announcing the what's it called now? We'll be announcing the bootcamp session very, very soon. So stay tuned for more updates. Any question? I know you guys don't even have questions, but anything you people want me to touch before I leave? Because time is gone. All right. I think we can call it a day. We can call it a class. So please make sure before you leave the class or before you leave the meeting, please make sure that you get access to, like, you copy some of these links down so that you'll need it later on. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Adebakin. So if you have questions, you can reach out to me on Telegram at NoahDroid on Telegram. So congratulations in advance on you guys. I think you guys should be done with FiTech by the end of the month, right? So congratulations in advance for your successful completion of your bootcamp session with FiTech. God bless you all. I want to go and sleep. Very tired. Thank you, guys.